So yeah, this is Key. She's my baby, and she's so good. Except when she's bad. Anyway, so let's talk crochet. First, I'm going to start with like a little background information on this stuff, and then we'll move forward from there. Historians are not sure when crochet was created as a method for making things. They think it started in the 16th century somewhere. It became a little more popular in the 19th century. It was used to decorate like wealthy people's homes for like their tables, doilies and stuff, or fancy fringes on clothes. And then we move to a modern day where it's a widespread practice. It's very meditative. I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people like to do it, is it's repetitive motion, and you yield some really good results. Like the dopamine hit I get after I complete a blanket and then use that blanket every time is phenomenal. It's just nothing beats it. So what you'll need is a crochet hook. This is a 6 diameter, okay, 6mm diameter. The thickness of the hook determines the size of the knot, okay? So if I have a really, really thick one, is that thing gonna pop off? Sorry, my stand was creaking. It's fine. Anyways. Train of thought. The bigger hook that you get, the bigger the knot. And picking different sizes is important for what you're trying to create. If you're trying to do something like a blanket, you're going to want to go with a thicker crochet hook. You can use this for blankets, and I have used it for blankets, but it is a lot, and I mean a lot of work. So yeah, your crochet needle, I would suggest is going to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Pick up a 4-pack of them. Make sure you're getting a 6, a 4, a 5, and a 3. They don't have to be exactly those numbers. I'm just suggesting it. Off the top of my head, that's what I can think of when I think of getting a set. They're probably a little bit different numbers, whatever, it doesn't matter, as long as you have varying thicknesses. You'll also want to go ahead and get some yarn. The yarn that you choose is important. I would say you want to start off with your basic yarn, and I would also go with something that's really cheap. Just the most cheap thing that you can get. You can go to Walmart and get yarn for like $3 for a skein. But you don't want to go ahead and just like spend a bunch of money on materials thinking, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and start and make a project out of starting. No, that is where people mess up. Do not make your first attempts anything but practice. Okay? If you try to go and shoot for the moon and make, like a hat or whatever it might be, and it falls through because you're frustrated over the techniques, the technique down, it's going to stifle any kind of joy or continuation of doing this. So it is important to start off at the base. Yarn thickness is just as important as crochet thickness. The little coin bag that I made is a thinner yarn than this is. However, I think it's easier to learn on just a standard size of yarn with a standard size hook. Okay. There's going to be some phrases that I'm going to be putting out there throughout this lesson, and I just want to go ahead and familiarize. We're just going to move on. You know what I was trying to say with these terms. So your hook has 2 positions it takes when we're working through our yarn. There's the up position with the hook pointing up, and then the down, right? Okay. These are important to note because there's some patterns require keeping it up for the entire time, or whatever it might be. Your base knot is going to be a slip knot. We'll go over that in just a moment on how to tie that. When we're holding our yarn and we're holding our hook, it's pretty standard. I usually wrap it around my finger like this. That way I can get tension on it, but too much tension is bad. You'll end up tightening it way too much. So the next thing about the hook that I was going to say was doing a yarn over, okay? So yarn over is me starting with the hook facing up. I am going like this, okay? And then I'm pointing my hook down and I'm pulling that like so, okay? So for our base, you want to, I really hope you can see this. I think you're good. I don't know. It might be just be fucking just like pointed right at my fucking dick. I don't even realize it. Okay. All right. So you want to cross it like this. Hold with these two. You're going to take this part of your yarn. You're going to wrap it this way. And then you wrap it this way. You want to make an X, like so. Turn your hand over. You want to put it underneath your ring finger, then over your pinky finger. Bring that around and crisscross these so you can hold them. Now put your thumb there to hold its place, okay? Your next step, you're going to go ahead and put your hook underneath here. Grab the yarn here. Keep your hook facing downwards. Bring your hook upwards. Then this way. You want to go and turn this kind of to the side for this portion. Fit it right into there. Okay. As it goes in, you're free to let go of that part. And then just tighten it up. And it will slip right on there. Okay. It is important to have a little bit of a tail. Certain projects can need this tail, but it's neither here nor there. If you want to trim it, you can trim it. If not, then don't. So as I was describing before in holding the yarn, you want to make sure that you give the proper amount of tension to your yarn. Too much tension and the knot is going to be very tight and the hook may not even fit through it. If you do too soft of pressure, you're not going to be able to hook onto the yarn and work it into the stitch. So with that in mind, I usually will wrap the yarn like so, just over my finger. You want to go ahead and grab the base of this knot with this finger. And if you see here, it's too long for me there, so I need to do about like right there. I don't want to hyperextend my finger to like do that. But if you see, I'm right between the slack and just a little bit of tension. There's a sweet spot, and you'll get a feel for it. Okay. So here we're going to yarn over. Means we're going over the yarn. We're going under the yarn. We are grabbing our hook and we're pointing it downwards or to whatever shape the hook is in, okay? So you'll have a teardrop shape as you go. This hook is shaped like that so it fits through there, all right? So again, yarn over, pull through, okay? This is going to be the easiest part of the entire thing. It does get a little more complicated from here, but I promise you when you really practice it and repeat it over and over and over and over again, and you stick to it, don't get discouraged, you're going to do just fine. So this is just laying down our base stitches so we can then build off of them. How many stitches is usually dependent on the pattern that you're going for. I know for me, if I'm making a hat, it's about 50 stitches across. And usually like, I don't know how many rows. It's a good amount of rows. So your starting chain should look like this. If you notice, they're all uniform. They have the two sides here. On the bottom, there's a ridge in the center. All right. So when we are coming to the end of our chain, meaning I've counted the amount of chains that I have made through this, and I've reached the end of where I need to turn, what you're going to do here is you're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, that's going to start your knot out with those little knots. You're going to go into the second opening, which is right here. You're going to go through this the lip that is furthest away from you. Okay, so you're going to put that in. That's what she said. So now that it's in there, you're going to see that you have 3 little loops on your hook. And sorry, I got distracted. So you're going to have these 3 little loops on your hook, right? So we're going to yarn over again, okay? Pointing your hook downwards. We're going to go to this point right here. We've gone through 1 of those loops. We have 3 loops again, okay? I'm going to yarn over again. I'm going to go through 2 loops, okay? Then finally, these 2 are next, okay? What's important to note, more tension or more power in trying to pull the yarn does not make it more likely to budge. If anything, you want to be delicate with it. So looking at where we're at here, you can see there's a big loop right here, right where I finished the stitch. We're not going to work into that one. We're going to work into the next one that's nearest. And you can tell by seeing the hole right there. So again, we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into this right here. We have our 3 loops. We're going to yarn over 1, it's that first loop. Then 2, we're going to go through 2 loops. Then 3, we're going to go through 2 loops. Okay. Again, yarn over. 1 loop. 2 loops. 3 loops. This knot is kind of, hang on, I don't want to do this knot. Yeah, I don't want to do this one. That's too many loops. I'm sorry, reset. My bad. It's been a minute since I've practiced crochet. As I was saying, yarn over, go ahead and put that in there. You do 1, and then you do all 3. There we go. That's better. So yarn over, going through this initial hole, pulling through 1, pulling through 3. Yarn over, going through 1, 3. Yarn over, 1, here, 3. Yarn over, going into that piece of yarn there. I just lost. Okay, yep. Yarn over, go through 1, hook up, hook down, pull through. Again, hook position is going to be important, and tension is going to be important. So when I'm going through here, I'm putting my hook up, I'm wrapping it around, I'm turning my hook downwards, and I'm gently pulling through. You do not have to work hard at this. The harder that you try to fight against the yarn that won't budge, the more it will not move through the stitch. yarn over. Okay. Prime example here. Oh, well, I fixed it already. I'm really bad at that. Yarn over. 1, 1, 2. There we go. So with this little piece right there was a little too tight because it probably like got this little curve, the slope. So to fix it, I can either do this, where I bring them all down to rearrange the thickness, and then gently bring it all through. And you're just going to do this down this row. Well, you'll really be doing this stitch throughout the entire piece. But like I said, we're not making a piece here. You're just practicing. You're just going to do, you could do, consider it a washcloth. If it has to be something for you to make and be focused on, just think of it like, oh, I'm just going to wipe some counters with this thing. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just like to keep my expectations realistic when I'm doing projects. That way I'm not super disappointed at the end, or I have too much hype around it and it disappoints me. Because if something disappoints me, I'm not going to fucking do it. You know, like I get really daunted by it. And like, well, that wasn't as satisfying as I thought. Yarn over. Oh, Lord Jesus, I fucked it up a couple times, but that's okay. There's no fucking up, I guess. No such thing. I tell myself that, but then I fuck it all up. Okay. All right, good to reset the knot. Okay, that looks decent. Okay, cool. Just wanted to be sure. And I said, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. And I ran, Jesus. No shoes or nothing. Don't know why that fucking popped in my head, but it did. Sorry, it's a little confusing. Again, not this one right after the knot that we just did, or the stitch we just did. The next one. 1, 1, 2. So that was a little too tense right there. So I'm just working my hook through that knot. I don't know if I pointed this out yet. There's a shape to this to the needle, to the hook. It's not a needle, it's a hook. To the hook that fits through your teardrop shaped stitches. So you can work around it and match to the shape to pull the yarn through. Yarn over. Oops. 1, 1, 2. Oops, I didn't go all the way in. There we go. And that is what she said. I just crack myself up, don't I? 1, 1, 2. Cool. Yarn over. 1. It is a point to me doing all this and waiting this long, because like it's when you turn, that's the last thing I need to show you, and it'll be coming up here very, very soon. I'm trying not to make this video way too long because it's like, I think even the timestamps can be daunting to a project. Okay, so we've done our last stitch on this row. What we need to do next is address this portion right here. So what I will do is I take the yarn that's right here, right at the initial stitch, or the starting point. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to put the hook through there, yarn over. And for this one, I'm just going to do one of those. I don't need to go through the 1, then the 2, okay? On this step right here, you're going to chain 1, 2, okay? The reason why you do this is you want to give the height of the stitch to the following row. If you don't do the rising stitch, it's going to get, it's going to look bad. That's all I'll just say. It's going to look bad. Anyway, so once we do that, we want to turn our work. This was something that really fucking stumped me for the longest time for absolutely no reason because it's so simple. But it just took me a minute to get it to click. So we did those 2, right? So now we're going to just go back doing the same stitch we did all the way back over to here, okay? And then you keep stacking those over and over and over again until you've got enough rows to sew the ends together. Oh, also an important note. So that first initial one, we were using that base chain and we're going through 1. For these, you want to make sure that you're going underneath both. You want to go completely underneath the V that is right here. Okay, important. I was doing it where I was doing that for all of my stitches, and I was like, this doesn't look the way I want it to. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing wrong, and that's what it was. So I think you can get the gist of it from there. Just kind of like set this down for a second because it's super late and I want to lay down and watch Black Mirror until 4 o'clock in the morning, where I'm going to complain that I didn't get any sleep because I just can't sleep. Anyways, Key, you know, I'm really trying to make a video here and you're just like interrupting with all your snoring. That little tail though, that little fucking tail. Okay, back onto me. So this is like just the basic kind of like thing that it should look like. I did mess up a couple of times. Did I stop and like beat myself up? Yes. In my head, yes, I did. But I told Josh, I was like, you need to sit the fuck down, dude. Like, just do it. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you get it out there and you show the premise. Because you're completely capable of doing this yourself. And I feel as though when you find your groove in it, you're going to go ahead and, you know, you'll make your own mistakes and you'll find your own workarounds. You'll see it, it'll click. It just takes time, so be patient with it. Keep your heart in it. But I hope this is helpful. If it is, you know, just drop me a like and a subscribe. Just kidding. I don't know if I could ever do a YouTube channel just because I'm so inconsistent with stuff. Why am I tangenting? No tangents. Anyway, go to Hobby Lobby or Walmart or Michael's, Joann's as well. Joann's Fabric, you can go and get that. Pick up some just standard yarn, get a set of hooks, follow along with this video. Once you get this down, I'll teach you how to do more. Maybe we could do a whole hat or something, or a tablecloth, something like that. Like, I'll show you the one that I have. Here I am. Oh, I need to wait for this. Sorry. So I did a... Oh, cool. I was sewing something to it. Oh, I never finished this. It was a pocket that I was supposed to do. Because I have my little side table. And I want to do a runner that came off the edge and held like my remotes and stuff. I haven't finished this yet. It's been sitting there forever and I completely forgot what I was doing with it. Anyway, but we can go over like getting to this point. It's astonishing to me that it's all this is it's crazy to think I've done every single little stitch. It feels good. It does. It feels like, wow, that's incredible. Anyway, I hope you find it helpful. I think that it's going to be. If it's not, fuck you, and I'm not gonna do any more. How about that? Just kidding. No, if it's not helpful, just let me know. You know, you can text me with any questions. Just be patient. If I don't answer, don't be afraid to bug me. Seriously, bug the fuck out of me until I respond. It's gonna make me feel better once I do respond. I'm just such a fucking mule about it. Anyway, I hope you have a good rest of your evening if you're awake, and if you're not awake at 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, like I am, good morning / afternoon. I don't know. Black Mirror's out. That's what I'm gonna do next. Yeah. So good stuff. I hope it's helpful.